Tarzi with Rise Again, where I interview immigrant entrepreneurs to share their success stories and everything they went through, from the culture shock to the entrepreneurial life. Before we get started, let me thank our sponsor, Dina Production, for producing those awesome videos. If you would like to get a perfect video for your business, go to noortarzi.com/video. Check the description and you'll get the links. Email me. I would love to connect you. And now let's welcome our guest, Marcela.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Marcela is one of the entrepreneurs who made a very small product at home and took it all the way to one of the most famous grocery stores in the area in South California, Whole Food.
Yes.
I have a lot to learn from you, and I'm ready to ask you like 1,000+ questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go for this. Where were you born?
I was born in Jalisco, Mexico, which is on the Pacific coast. A lot of people associate Jalisco with Puerto Vallarta. That's where Puerto Vallarta is, in Jalisco.
Okay.
In a region named the Highlands of Jalisco, where tequila is from. Yummy.
Okay. Here we go. That's how we're getting it started.
Yes.
Right. All right. So how old were you when you moved to US?
I was 3 years old.
Do you still have that memories?
I sure do.
Awesome. I mean, you were very young. Did you remember going through any culture shock or any did it make a difference for you as a child moving, or was it like normal?
No, it was definitely a culture shock. You see, where I'm from in Mexico, it's a little village. It's not a town. It's a little village to this day. So we're very interconnected. The community is more like family. So regardless of where I went, 2, 3 years old, it was going to family. I could go out. And then we moved to East LA, the Boyle Heights area, my mother and I. My mother had to go work, so I was left behind with family members that I didn't know.
And I can imagine. How did that go? Absolutely.
Yeah, and to be separated from my mother, that was an intense situation, yes.
Wow. Did you adjust quickly to it though? Did the school help? Or did it take you a long time to kind of adjust?
I think I decided to simply just not deal with it at even 3, 4 years old.
Good.
I just put it away and said, well, it is what it is. School started. I love to interact with people. So even as a little kid, I was like, hey, what's your name? You want to play? So I think that was a self-defense mechanism.
That's very good to hear. I wish my girl was like that. I mean, she's very shy and stuff. All right, let's go to the next one. You decided to start a business.
Yes.
Tell me before, did you have a job before you make that decision?
Oh, yes. I had a very successful career in human resources and purchasing, as a matter of fact. And my kids were getting to a period where they're getting a little bit older, maybe 10, 14 years old. And I figured, I worked all my life. I love working. I've been working since I was 13 years old because I wanted to. And I said to my husband, you know what? I think I want to stay home with them now. I think I want to homeschool them. Let's talk about this.
Wow.
Yeah, so we
prepared.
That's
a big decision.
It was an intense decision, huge. Wow. So research goes into it, you name it. And
how old were you when you started homeschooling?
Oh, wow. This was 6 years ago. So I was 31.
How old were they?
Oh.
you have... Hey, we know how old you are now.
Okay.
You said it. On camera. We have the proof.
My kids at that time, they were 11 and 6.
Okay.
So they were not having the best time of their lives in school for various reasons. We've tried to work with the schools. Things didn't happen. So that's what prompted, hey, let's homeschool them. So my husband and I sat down and we drafted this plan. More him. Me, I'm not the person to do the planning or anything. I just execute.
Okay.
If they were to say, okay, Marcela, jump off a bridge with a parachute, I would probably figure out I need a parachute halfway down. My husband puts on 10 parachutes before he thinks of jumping off.
I think that's always a nice balance to have.
It sure is. A yin and the yang. So we planned it out for 2 years. Okay, in 2 years, you're going to leave your job, homeschool, you do this. So we got to that date, and unfortunately, I was kind of going like this throughout the day. Okay, what do I do? What do I do? On the idle time. So I started to look into what is holistic and alternative forms of relaxation, meditation, energy healing, And my client says, hey, Marcela, how can I maintain this state of bliss after our session? I started thinking, what can I create that the everyday person uses?
Okay.
Soap.
Wow. Such a different approach to soap. I mean, usually we know soap just to clean my hand. That's it. We don't think about it in a further in depth, I would say. All right. Yeah. How did it go from there?
Excellent. A lot of testing.
All right.
Because soap is chemistry. And I thought, well, just mix this, and that, and we're done. Oh no, I still have pictures of my very first soap. Let's just say it looks like chocolate pudding. I still save it to this day. Okay. It was incredible.
I guess you have some soap here to
yes,
share.
This is our newer soap, of course. But yes.
Wow, it smells really good. It smells natural. Like I can like feel like it's organic. It's homemade thing.
People have taken a bite out of it.
This now, I would give.
This is lavender. It's our very popular salt bar. It's because sea salt is fantastic for the muscles and the skin, so we incorporate it into the soap.
All right, so now I'm very excited to hear this story. You made the soap at home. All right, you probably have started selling those soaps to friends, clients. How did you get into whole food or big grocery stores? Like, what is the procedures? How did you go about doing it?
Well, the procedure, because I did read up on it, is that you have to reach out to like a corporate office. They have an office where all of the buyers are there. You submit your product, and if they contact you, you're lucky. That means that they're going to consider you. Okay. That doesn't mean that you're in. But the key to remember, if they consider you. And I thought to myself, great, that's not what I want. So being the person that I jump off the bridge, is I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to wait that long. So 8 months after starting my company, I called a Whole Foods in Long Beach. Okay. And I said, hey, I have this product.
So did you call just like the branch, like the Long Beach branch, talk to the manager?
Yeah.
All right.
I just did that. And the manager was like, well, we don't do it this way. But when he said but, in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, that's it.
What I'm looking for.
That's it. But come on in. Let's see what you have. Okay. So I put on this big, beautiful basket of all of our products. And remember, I have a background in purchasing and human resources. Correct. So I knew what they are looking for.
Oh, okay. So what they're looking for? Here we go. Like I think that's a great information.
So if I walked in and you were the manager, the buyer, and I walked in just with the soap, oh, this is what I have, you would probably go, oh, this is nice. So what they are looking for is you come in prepared. Okay. All of your information or your ducks in a row, your price sheet, your story, how many aromas do you have, your ingredient statement. Okay. Short, sweet, and simple. You hand it over to them.
All the information. Awesome.
Plus your product. And one thing that all of these stores are looking for is, what are you doing for the community?
That's a very interesting approach. So they do pay attention to that.
Very much so. Okay. So with my background, when I decided to make soap, I said, okay, I'm not going to make soap just to make soap. I want to make it with a purpose. So part of that from the beginning, the inception of the product and the company was to collaborate with companies, organizations that empower humanity and the animal kingdom. We do a lot of work on Skid Row.
Okay.
With a specific organization. We donate time, proceeds, and product. Awesome. So that, in a nutshell, to these organizations, to these companies like Whole Foods, makes a big difference because they want to align themselves with companies that share that vision.
Awesome. So you did all the research before you even called. You know, like who they want to work with, what's their story, what is important for them before you even made that call.
Yeah. What is their mission statement? What do they stand for? If you walk into a Whole Foods and you walk into a Ralph's, they're very different worlds.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's what you see and that's what you cater to. Be prepared is the key there.
So did you know that Whole Food was the right place for your product, or did you research different markets before you called?
I knew.
Okay.
I knew based on the product that I was producing, I knew that I wanted my product in Whole Foods, and I knew that their customers needed not wanted, needed my product.
Okay.
So
Okay.
another great thing that to come up is that you have to go in there not just prepared, but with confidence. Sell your
Absolutely true.
product.
Absolutely true. So I know, especially for getting into big stores like this, branding make a huge difference. Did you brand your product? Came up with a business name, with a like the style, the logo before you go to Whole Food? Did it make a difference to present your product well, or those things doesn't matter?
It matters a lot, but don't crack your head over it. A lot
Okay.
of people, and I was one of them, is I focused so much on the packaging, so much on the lettering, that I lost track of just going there and making it happening and learning along the way and adjusting along the way. So
Okay.
it has to go in balance.
Absolutely true. And I see you have all the information in the back, making sure you meet. Oh, you're telling your story here.
Yes,
The
very
mission
important.
is on the package. That's I was gonna actually ask you, how do you communicate your story? That's how you do it. Okay, that's a very interesting.
Well, you can see that our packaging is very simple.
Simple, absolutely.
What we wanted to do is keep it simple because we want the product to stand out. I've seen products that have beautiful packaging that is a very expensive packaging. You open the packaging and the product is like blah. So
Yeah.
we wanted to go the
Other
opposite
way, make
direction.
sure the product is very
Stands out
interesting.
because at the
Yeah.
end of the day,
Yeah.
when you take this home and you use it, what do you do to the packaging?
Throw it out.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So everything on there, short, sweet, simple, to the point, has its barcode, the mission, the ingredients, of course, and what it is at a glance, and that's it.
That's great. That's great. Now we're talking about all those success stories. Let's go to those worst moments. I know it didn't happen overnight. Tell me one of those like very bad entrepreneurial moments.
One of them that stands out is when I started the business, of course, cash flow was a challenge. Like you put everything, your heart and soul and all of your savings into something that you know is going to work, but it does not give back initially. So I asked for a loan that had 105% interest rate.
Wow.
Yes.
Just to break this means that if you're getting a $1,000, you're paying it as $2,000 plus.
Yes. It got me out of the situation I was in.
Okay.
But it didn't really get me out of anything. That was just a band-aid. Yes, and I kept digging myself in the hole because, yes, I paid whatever the monthly premium was, but then at the end of the day, I saw, well, you know, $400 are going to the interest and $50 are going to the loan.
Wow.
So it took 2 years to pay that off because once my husband, he's the one that deals with all of the finance. He says, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry. This and this happened." He says, "Ay, ay, ay. Okay, we're going to pay this off. We're going to pinch pennies." So that goes in part with discipline in a business and anything. Even if your interest rate is 20% on a credit card or 10%, the more that you minimize the debt in business, the better. Especially when you go out and try and get a business loan, that's what they see. How much do you owe?
Absolutely, I totally agree from personal experience. The less, I feel like when you make a new deal and you get the money, you get to enjoy it if you don't have to pay a debt. Otherwise, you feel like you're hustling, and everything you're making is just to pay the debt. But if you do have some debt, don't worry, they're gonna vanish, they're gonna go away.
Yes.
So just keep doing it. All right, moving now to, I see here we have awesome books. Do you read a lot?
When I get the chance, yes.
Okay. So are we talking about like a book a year, a book a month?
Oh no, I do more than that, but what I went to is more of an audiobook.
Correct.
Versus a physical book.
Absolutely.
I love paperback books.
Correct.
But because of a busy schedule, it's the audiobook. At least I'm getting something into my mind.
Yeah, that's what I use all the time. All right. Do you have a favorite book that you want to share with us?
Yes, actually, I have two, but I will start. I believe this one would be the best one. The reason for this is a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners, we fall into a trap where this is our baby. The business is our baby. So we want to be there 24/7. Actually, that's what happened to me initially. I came into the office at 9 in the morning and I didn't leave until 10 at night.
Wow.
which initially was good, but then I realized I don't have a life, my children, my husband, my house. So this book came into our lives through a friend of my husband. He read it first, and then I read it. And it gives you great tools to be able to start delegating, which is very difficult for us to delegate. And by delegating, that means that if I'm doing every aspect of the business, which I did for a year and a half, every aspect, hey, you know, it's okay to delegate this position to maybe you. Hey, you know, you're going to do a great job, and it frees me up.
Okay. The 4-hour work week. So I know a lot of entrepreneurs who struggle with delegation, and I did hear it from Tony Robbins, who mentioned don't delegate, but empower. Empower your employees, empower the subcontractors around you. They want to help you. They do have the skill. Give them that opportunity to prove themselves. So absolutely agree. And thank you for sharing this book, The 4-Hour Workbook. We will link to Amazon. You can buy this book or listen to it. I'm not sure. Is it on Audible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, awesome. Here we go. This is my next book to read. All right. Is there a second book that you recommend?
Yes, it's by the same author.
All right.
And this, actually, Tony Robbins recommended this book.
Okay. Here we go. And
I love Empower, by the way. Thank you. So this is Tools of the Titans. This is a fantastic book. It shares so many resources for people who are successful, who want to be successful, what their daily routines are like. When you wake up, breathing exercises. That didn't make sense, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
But it's such a resourceful book. Highly recommended.
Thank you so much for sharing all those awesome resources and books with us. And before we let you go, we need one piece of advice for an immigrant who are thinking to open a business or already in business.
Yes, and that would be, do not be afraid to reach out to people within your network, your family and your friends. They want to help you. All that you have to do is say, hey, I need some help here. Can you do this for me? Or do you know someone? That was one of the biggest struggles that I had, or challenges that I had at the beginning. So aside from that is educate yourself, do your research and go for it. Dream big, the bigger the better.
Thank you so much for
being with
us. I'm very blessed to have you today.
Likewise.
And I think if it's up to me, I would keep asking questions until tomorrow, but we have to wrap it up. Before we finish, I would like to thank our affiliate, Regis, for hosting us here at their offices. Regis offer a pre-equipped offices, whether you need a full-time office or a co-working place or a virtual office, they got you covered. If you're looking for an office, go to nortarzi.com/office. I would love to introduce you to a manager in your city. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.